I think most importantly, I think you need to keep on top of like updates and stuff like that with a lot of these social media platforms that they release. So a lot of people still think like, yeah, hashtags work, but they don't work. They will never get you like the reach that you need. I think obviously Reels is obviously, you know, video-based content. It's hard, man. It's hard because you'll never know until you start posting. Like I could sit here and say, yeah, polished content with Reels is gonna fly, and then sometimes someone might do it and it might not.
Someone will have the same routine as you. Yep. And it's relatable content that makes people engage and obviously want to then produce a similarity to it. Mm-hmm. So it's what does the sales, what builds that relatable feeling, that builds your branding. People buy into the branding. Yeah. So I said, as much as you say people buy from people buy from the brand. They buy into the brand. It's an element of trust.
Yeah. I have so many messages from members sometimes. Like it's the first post. They're procrastinating what to post and how to. I'm like, just post it, man. Yeah. Just post it, because you're gonna learn on your journey. And like you said there, the amount of times that I look back now or some of the content that I started off doing, it's terrible, right? and I have to archive it, but you have to post, because if you don't post, you never know what traction you're going to get.
Myself and Josh are going to be having a conversation how to utilize Instagram correctly, not only just for organic media, but the purpose of how it's advanced in years. So taking your content, not just taking pictures of your food now, but actually you've got to put thought and effort behind what you're posting and have a purpose behind it to increase your branding element. I think it's something that you've done a lot is obviously changing the type of content you've done as well, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Like we talk about it all the time. We mention it a lot in the training as well. But we need to be a little bit more specific with the content that we're putting out, and taking more time with the content and the photos and the videos that we take to put on social media, because essentially social media, if you're driving people to, let's say for example, Instagram, that's going to be like your sales funnel, right? Yeah, so you want to make sure that the content that you're putting out is good, and you want to take your time with it, and utilizing tools as well that we've got on, you know, the internet, like AI and bits and pieces like that. I just think taking your time with the content that you're putting out is going to help necessarily moving forward, right?
There's a reason now as well, and you can't just take random content, and you have to have a purpose behind the content.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I see you, Ryan, obviously, and the guys, and this is what I try and reiterate when people are doing branding as well, is that it's not the first image you take is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I also think sometimes being present is better than procrastinating, because you want to be actual present on the Instagram. The more that you post, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
But not every, you might have archived a load of stuff. Like I said, not everything you put live is going to be the final product.
Yeah.
But when you're first starting, I think it's pivotal to get the images on the website, start growing, and start understanding where your audience is going to take you.
Yeah.
So it's not always going to be perfect, but your development throughout the stages is, like I said, there's a requirement to be bad at something, no matter what you do. If this is social media, it is marketing, even in your day job, you're never going to start and be an expert at anything.
Yeah.
There's a purpose of obviously just developing and learning, and until you get over the fear of posting, I think you're going to be stuck in, you're going to like lessen the understanding and lessen your training.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there must be posts you've done and then I've thought, probably I'm going to take that down, I can probably take a better image and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. We all start somewhere, right?
100%, yeah.
And we have to. I have so many messages from members sometimes. Like it's the first post. They're procrastinating what to post and how to. I'm like, just post it, man. Yeah. Just post it, because you're going to learn on your journey. And like you said there, the amount of times that I look back now or some of the content that I started off doing, it's terrible, right? and I have to archive it, but you have to post, because if you don't post, you never know what traction you're going to get.
100%.
So you know, you could put something out there that you take, you know, 2 days creating content on something, and then you post it, but you do another post where you haven't taken that much time, and that gets more reach. So you have to test these things. You have to make sure that you're testing all the time. But at the beginning, yeah, 100%, man. Like you have to just post and see what you get, because the more you post, the more you're going to learn, and the more you're going to get better at it, right? I think
something that you use in your personal brand as well, within obviously growing and speaking to members, but also something that I try and get members to as well, is something like I call it a trending post or a hot topic post.
Yeah.
You do where you post reels, not of yourself. It's not always got to be about your brand. Mm-hmm. It's about something that's going to, within your niche or within your area. So I always reference Boohoo. Boohoo do it the best. They have, you go down Boohoo's grid, they've got stuff about Taylor Swift, Halloween, Christmas, and it's non-product related stuff.
Yeah.
But the way that they utilize the content is for an extra growth. That podcast that you may repost or something on your story probably has a further reach than something that you might post yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's got an extra audience that are it's shareable content. And I think that's the one thing that people miss out on, and it's how to grow a little bit further beyond what you're posting.
Yeah.
People get a bit too sales happy and a bit too product focused.
Yeah.
And then they'll burn out and they'll go 10 posts even like, I've not got no content and you're like, it's not always about posting about your brand.
Yeah.
You can get further a reach with doing a trending post or a hot topic post.
Yeah.
There's so many things that go like, at the point of the recording, I think Love Island starts next week. If you're a young female brand, 90% of the UK audience are probably going to be watching. If you're 18 to 35 female, you're going to have an interest in Love Island. Your brand's going to have your similar audience is going to have an interest in Love Island. So post something about Love Island, because it's a gossip post. Gossip travels further than purchases. You'll gain maybe 10, 15 audiences from that one post. Whereas if you just post about your product, you're going to the same audience. The reach is lessened.
Yeah, agree. You have to create a feeling, right? And that's what it's all about. And I think if you're constantly just posting the product all the time, essentially you are going to run out of content. You're not going to know what else to post, right? So it's creating that feeling on your social media. And exactly what you said there, you're going to Boohoo, you're going to like Nike, all these big businesses that have social media. It's not necessarily about the product all the time that they're selling. It's about the feeling, right? So 100%, yeah, you've got to switch it up a bit. And even like motivational stuff as well, switching it up like that. As long as it's niche specific with what you're selling, like, you know, educational posts and stuff like that. If you want to mix it up, I say this time and time again, if you want to mix it up a bit with members, like I say, do like educational posts as well. Just mix it up a little bit. Create like maybe a little bit of a theme on your page. Like it helps. And going back to like the themes, it helps because you're creating a better sales funnel with the social media and the way it looks. So
if you post about purchase all the time, you post, say 99% of people post product sales, like you get very repetitive, and that's where you don't capture the audience, because what people do, obviously your funnel system will work, people will get interested with your stories, then look into your grid, and then obviously they'll continue scrolling through. But if you're just constantly posting on your grid about the product and the sales, one, your burnout is going to be very, very quick, and two, after the first 3 posts that they've looked at, there's probably there's no engagement, so they're not going to follow through the further down. Yeah. So whereas, like I said, if you have something that's interesting or something that's outside of what they're expecting, the more they're going to engage, the more likely they're going to look into the post and look through the whole reel of it. Yeah. It's all about how you can. It's the easiest thing is getting them to a page. It's getting them to buy into the product or buy into your brand, which is hard, and it's all about elements of trust. And if you're consistently posting, trying to get them to sale, there's no trust element to be built. I think your best posts are going to be motivational ones that are giving people a bit more of a kick up their ass, or giving a bit more of an education, offering something out of the normal that isn't just about a sales funnel.
I think just be a little bit more flexible with what you're posting. Like sometimes it can be non-related to the actual niche and product as well. But again, like you can archive posts. You can chop and change if you want. You know, you could go through and you could do 20 posts and then be like, okay, cool. I want to switch this up a little bit. And let's test. That like the whole journey, the whole process of build, like social media is like its own business.
Oh, 100%,
it's its own business. There's so many brands out there that just generate money just through their social media, but they've only been able to do that after testing period. You know, so you have to test it all the time, and don't be shy. I always say that to members: don't be shy of posting something that isn't related, especially at the beginning if you're building a page, because you're not going to have that many eyes watching your page anyway. So you have to build it up over time.
On that as well, I think you can get people who are quite ignorant to the fact that they have a specific audience that they want to achieve towards, but it's never the right purpose of saying, I'm going to post this here because this audience is going to reach me. If you don't test the water in terms of trying different audiences at the start, you're never going to understand what potential access you've got there. This is where we'll go into marketing, we discuss marketing as well, but like the data drives your success. If you're ignorant to the fact that, oh, this is what I'm going to post, this is what I'm going to post, this is my audience, say your audience might be, you might want a young female audience, but the ones that are engaging maybe 35, 44 and that age range and above. But if you're ignorant and continue and try to start ramming it down the throats, they're then going to get disengaged because you're not reading the data.
Yeah.
And that's same as what you do on organic. Is very similar to what you do in paid media. It's all data driven, and everything in the world at the moment is always going to be data driven.
Yeah.
The one thing that you mentioned there as well is obviously testing. Is you've done quite a bit on TikTok as well. Testing on TikTok is very different to testing on Instagram. On TikTok, you're not penalised for posting the same video over again. So I would always advise when posting the same video, post it 5 times with 5 different captions.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what caption, and again, we can go back to on Instagram in a minute, but you don't know what caption's going to be the best in terms of getting the results.
Yeah.
So do you post the same video 5 times? You've got a 2-hour window where the algorithm's set within Instagram that allows you to develop and understand if it's going to be successful, if it's going to flop or whatever it is. Then again, archive. Archive is going to be your best friend.
Yeah.
But I think your growth on your Instagram, you've tested quite a lot of different angles as well. You got like one video did like over 100,000 for that.
Yeah. You have to test, and even if you can still utilize like Instagram to test the same video. Like you can still do that, especially at the beginning when you haven't got much traction. Like you want to be having a look at these different things, and it could be a simple thing of like switching different music.
Yeah.
And then that could help a little bit more growth. But all of the tools and resources that you got on social media is there for business purposes. A lot of people look at it as just for fun, but use it as like a business perspective, like switching the audio or switching the music to get maybe more reach. So yeah, I've always said about test, like, and never be nervous about, like, especially starting and posting something that you're not going to get much reach, because what you said about the data, you're not going to know the data at the beginning. You're not going to know your audience. And the only way that you're going to know your audience is if you post, and then you'll start to understand. And this could take 6 to 12 months of posting, and then you'll start to understand, okay, cool, these are the type of people that are interacting with my posts. These are the type of people that are interacting with my stories. Then you start to understand what type of content you can put out moving forward.
Yeah, because it's all about what's going to gain you the most reach. Is it going to be inspirational stuff? Is it going to be real? Do people want a bit more of a kick up their arse? Do people, and that's transferable across to, are there people wanting real results? Do you utilize UGC content? Do you utilize quotes? Bullet points, what type of captions most relatable? And then also what people don't understand is that if something's successful on organic media, you can then transition that across into paid media as well.
Yeah.
But what's one of the biggest things, like you mentioned music there, what's one of the biggest things that you see gets further reach? Because I think hashtags are kind of a dying age now, aren't they? Yeah,
I think most importantly, I think you need to keep on top of like updates and stuff like that with a lot of these social media platforms that they release. So a lot of people still think like, yeah, hashtags work, but they don't work. They will never get you like the reach that you need. I think obviously Reels is obviously, video based content. It's hard, man. It's hard because you'll never know until you start posting. Like I could sit here and say, yeah, polished content with Reels is gonna fly, and then sometimes someone might do it and it might not. Like raw content works really well on social media. Just raw content. A lot of people sometimes they'll spend too much time with like polished content, which really should be for like ads.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like you can use it on social media and post, of course, but sometimes raw content works better. So I just think, pivoting a little bit and testing certain things will give you more of an idea.
I think as much as you say test, it's just the consistency.
Yeah.
You've got a bit, no matter what you do, no matter in, like we mentioned a couple of times, like in education, in whatever you do, your day-to-day job, in social media, paid media, consistency, just showing up is going to get you the best results.
Yeah.
Just posting is going to get you the best results. Like I said, you can always archive stuff. You might even post something you think, it's a bit rubbish. I hate it when it happens, and we have a member at the moment who I run their ads, and they hate the content I'm posting. But I say, you've sent $1,000 and you've done $5,000 ROAS in a week. You've made $5,000. Like you might hate the stuff sometimes, but sometimes you've kind of got to bite the bullet and be like, all right, yeah, but this is going to get me the results.
Yeah.
Not everything that you do is going to be a polished element. Like, so the one that was working at the moment is a dynamic creative.
Yeah.
And the product images, they might look a bit, they're not as pretty as some ones, and yeah, you can do any ones, but sometimes it's not how pretty something is, it's what's going to get you the results.
Yeah. 100%.
And like, don't be ignorant to the fact that it's going to get you the results.
Yeah.
If you want a certain criteria of content to work, you can't force it. You can test it with different angles and continue to test it, but if it doesn't work, don't try and continue to do it. because that's where you get into a loophole of there's nothing's working for me.
Yeah.
But realistically, it's not that nothing's working for you. You're trying to post the wrong content.
Yeah, 100%. I was speaking to a couple of members the other day, and like you don't have to be the face behind the brand. Like we got a ton of members that have created brands and been very successful without showing their face. But there was a couple of members I was speaking to who are in like the pet niche, and they were testing different posts on social media, just pictures, carousels and stuff like that. And then they switched it up a little bit in their stories. So they started talking about their product and getting people to engage like on a morning routine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now they understand their audience, because they're starting to get a little bit more attraction from some of the things that they're talking about, like morning walks and stuff like that, about their product. And they've not nailed it, but they're now getting an audience and they're getting an idea.
You think that the people buy from people.
Yeah.
And if you understand sales, the psychological thought process of someone buying is that they'll buy from people, not from brands.
Yeah.
So you want to be there, them talking stories, them creating a routine. Someone's going to have that. There's nothing you can do in the world that someone in the world isn't currently doing.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
We're recording a podcast now. There's probably hundreds of people recording a podcast at the same time. Someone will have the same routine as you. Yeah. And it's relatable content that makes people engage and obviously want to then produce a similarity to it. So it's what does the sales, what builds that relatable feeling, that builds your branding. People buy into the branding.
Yeah.
So I said, as much as you say people buy from people buy from the brand. They buy into the brand. It's an element of trust. You've got to understand why someone goes into a supermarket. You've got several bottles of water, but they'll always pick the same bottle of water because they understand the brand, they trust that brand. Yeah. I said, it's the development of that, and it's like you said there, the talking stories. People start to have a similar routine. You might notice more if you get a good engagement when you post your kids on social media.
Yeah.
Like, because people are parents. People are trying to do this with parents. You're living proof that the successful growth and building a business around your Instagram is accessible by having kids.
Yeah.
But was it a tough decision to post your kids online? Because I know that could be a difficult question for some people as well.
Yeah, like for me, I find it fine, you know. But some people want to keep that hidden, which is fine. Like you don't need to do that. But for me, I like showing a little bit more of a background of myself. It creates that story, and I think people like that as well. But again, you don't have to. But that's just me. That's just my choice, and I feel like that I relate to a lot more people in that way as well. But again, like I said before, you got so many members that don't even have their face behind the brand. It's just like the product, or they utilize other creators as well.
You think speaking on that, you think there's so many millionaires in the world now that do streaming platforms that don't even show their face. There's a category called VTuber, I think, which means virtual tuber, where they're not even showing their faces. Like you can create, like I agree that you've got to create. I think people are drawn towards, it's why you have every sports or every place has a mascot, because they've got that sense of connection to something is real. Yeah. So having a focal point of a mascot, so pet brands do obviously your pets. You've got a mascot per se, essentially. Everyone knows you got Ronald McDonald, and I could probably name you 100 different football mascots, because it's something that you relate to. That's obviously, if you've got a young audience, I took my daughter on holiday last year, and she saw a mascot for this place, and then she loves it. She's got a teddy bear and stuff like that. It's something that engages and builds a sense of realism that you can connect to.
Yeah, it's connecting with people, absolutely.
Well, that's why you're successful in terms of when you post your kids and stuff like that. Parents will love it, because the fear is, do I have time to do it? And you're living proof of, well, if you can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got 2 kids, you've got a stressful life and stuff like that, but you still have time to do it. You've managed to do it successfully.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, I said, it builds an element of trust, because people buy from people.
Yeah, well, I mean, myself is more of like a personal brand, like for myself, you know. But with members that are creating brands, it's not necessarily just like a personal brand. It's more of like it's a product, it's a niche, it's a brand that they're creating to obviously sell products on. But you can still mix it up, because, you know, like you said, it creates a little bit more of a trust. It's more personal. People can relate to it as well, and that's the beauty of social media. You've got the world, right? You've got the world that you can, you know, create a good touch with other people and relate with other people as well. But yeah, 100%. Like, but you'll never know, like, without posting, without showing things on social media, you're never going to know. So you're never going to know your audience. You're never going to know what data is going to help you moving forward with your brand. So
no, of course.
But yeah, 100%, man.
But just to end on a couple of tips and stuff like that. So one that I hear you and Ryan talk about obviously is resetting your stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of resetting your stories? How do you go about that?
So resetting the stories is like a little tactic that we've learned over the years. But again, there might be a new tactic later on.
Yeah,
we'll always know, because we're always on top of updates on what works and what doesn't work. But with like resetting your story views, it resets the algorithm a little bit on your personal, on your Instagram. And when you then post for the first time, you need to do something where you're posting something that's people are going to engage with.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's a poll or a question. The most engagement you can get from like an Instagram story is when people reply to your story, and that then directly goes into a DM. A DM's like the strongest form of like engagement to push your story to more people, to get more engagement. So if you can create something where people reply to the story, polls, questions, they're all good, but I think something that you can maybe ask a question. Maybe quite a bit of writing, something about your brand or something like that. What do you guys think about this brand? Do you think I should do this? Whatever. And get people to reply to that story, and that will push it to more people. And that's where you can see like the maximum sort of.
Well, you said views. This morning, obviously, that Brandy was talking a bit more about the routine.
Yeah.
You can do a video of your morning coffee and say, oh, what caramel do you have in your coffee this morning? What's your morning routine?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Something that's going to purposely asking someone a question, like it converts into a DM. And then more than likely, if people are willing to DM you, they're then willing to hear your story and buy from the brand.
Yeah.
It's all about that initial interaction and building trust.
It opens up the conversation, right? So it opens up the conversation. But yeah, 100%. I think stuff like that works, like leaving it for 24 hours, seeing what views you get and stuff like that definitely helps. But I think like a lot of the stories that people do, I think a lot of it should be more about the background. Like maybe the story about the brand, the background sort of stuff, and then whatever you post is the brand, the content, the stuff that you want people to see when they come to your social media, and then they look and they're like, oh, I love this. Look at the theme on the page. Look at all the content. It's really good, right?
Yeah.
And then that's where you get that follow. But you have to build it up over time, of course.
100%. I think once you've got the following, you started getting tagged in stories and posts for that. Reposting them is vital.
Yeah.
Because again, we say that people buy from people, but trust element is that people don't buy from the brand individually. If you're just going to continue posting about yourself, if you have a trust, or that's why trust ads work really well, or you like customer review ads, because people are reading about it, makes the product more real.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, and obviously you can do them as a highlight if you've got customer reviews or as a highlight.
Yeah. There's
so many tools that are accelerating success within organics that work hand in hand with the paid media. But I would say individually, you can be successful doing paid media by yourself, but you'll see a more rapid increase because the trust is built on your organics.
Yeah, 100%. It helps with trust, hell of a lot. And over time, like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of brands that just use social media to drive sales. So, but yeah, at the beginning, it's like the credibility, the trust, and stuff like that. But you build it over time, and then you can utilize that. As we got a ton of members that are doing it already, utilizing social media, and they're making a lot of money just through social media channels. Yeah. But they built it up over time. It's not something that they've just clicked their fingers, created content.
It's not that easy.
But it's its own business. You need to treat it as its own business to be able to build it and get to them levels, 100%.
No, perfect. Yeah, and I think that's perfect to end on. I think hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully there's value from it. If you do have any questions about growth on social media, what content to utilize, then obviously drop myself or Josh a DM.
Yeah, good stuff. Appreciate it, man.
Cheers, man.